Okay, so here's where we're going to start. Right now, you have a child, vast number of age, 5, 10, 15, it doesn't matter. First of all, let me say that. The information that I'm going to share with you is applicable across the lifespan. Okay, so we could be talking about a 2-year-old, we could be talking about a 10-year-old, we could be talking about a teenager, we could actually be talking about your adult child or even your spouse. You can apply this information, so I want you to first allow that to settle into your consciousness. And really, while we're going through the next few sessions, I just want you to do a few things for me, a few very important things. Number one, the information that I'm going to teach you is not the common information out there. It is a love-based model. We operate in a fear-based world. Love is not popular, so that's going to challenge you right away. It's going to stress you out. You're immediately going to feel defensive. You're going to feel resistant. I want to ask you to be open to this new paradigm, this new way of looking at the world and seeing relationships and seeing your child, seeing yourself and seeing your family. Number two, as we talk about this information, I first want you to start by trying to apply it to yourself. See, that's a huge key. That which you can see within yourselves, you can more readily see in others. If you can't see it in yourself, you're going to have a really hard time seeing it in others. That's one of the biggest challenges I have had with parents over the years who really want to try to grasp what's going on with their child, is they really have a difficult time internalizing the understanding as it relates to themselves, as it relates to their own histories, as it relates to their present, as it relates to the things that they focus on and obsess about and think about, the things that worry them. They have a really difficult time making the connection of this information I'm going to be talking to you about to themselves. So try to make a really diligent effort to see the information first within yourself before you start thinking about it within your kids. And it just takes a minute. All right, you just say, okay, how does this apply to me? Oh, that's important. Take a few notes down and then think, oh, now what about my child? Oh, now I see that. Now let's look and let's compare the notes. All right, so that's the second thing I want you to do. Third thing I want you to do is I only want you to try to take a few really important points from any one video, and maybe one, maybe two. Okay, two most. My all-day lectures, I tell people to take 3 points from the whole day. Now we're here for a few minutes, so I just want you to take one. How's that? 1 point from the whole presentation that you can go and you can apply and you can think about, and when you come back and you see me again, you're going to be able to build on that. Over time, you keep building on you're securing your foundation, you're building a strong foundation. So those 3 things I want you to do. So let's start with John Bowlby. John Bowlby is considered the father of attachment. He says the first 3 years of life establish the blueprints for all your future relationships. Now what you need to understand about that is, because the decade of the brain is, we now understand that actually all the way up until the age of 5, your brain is developing at its most rapid pace ever. You have more dendrites, more synapses, more growth. By the time you hit 5, your brain is as big as it's going to get. So actually, Bowlby was on he said this back in the late 50s, he was off by just a little bit. It's actually your first 5 years of life. The significance there is that this starts from conception. Mitch Gaynor, author of the book The Sounds of Healing, says as early as the 4th week after conception, the fetus is capable of hearing. As early as the 2nd trimester, the fetus is capable of psychological processing. Now think about that for yourself first. What was going on in your life when you were in your mother's tummy, when you were in the womb? What was going on? What was surrounding? Think about that, okay? Because all of that has implications for now. Now think about that in relationship to your child. Okay? If this is an adopted child, you don't even know what was going on in the first 9 months of their life. Okay, so you can think about it, and you can kind of generalize and think, okay, this child was born to a 17-year-old woman. She wasn't married. Her family had kicked her out. She was young. So what does that tell you? That's a stressful environment that your child, that their first earliest blueprints are being created in stress. And so that first 0 to 5 years of life, and for some of you who have children you've adopted from orphanages, you know, when they were 18 months or when they were 2 years old. See, that's days, that's hours, that's minutes, that's seconds, weeks, months of existence in a potentially neglectful environment, a potentially stressful environment, a potentially abusive environment, an environment where they're not getting a lot of affection, an environment where they're not getting a lot of attention, an environment where they're not getting held, or when they cry, no one comes and soothes them. Those experiences establish the blueprints for all future relationships. So you're seeing this behavior right now in this child who's 10 years old, and you're like, why will you not just turn the television off when I tell you to turn the television off? Well, guess what? That could go all the way back to in utero. That could go all the way back to when he was 1 year old or when he was 2 years old. In fact, oftentimes it does, because that child freezes in his brain. And we're going to get into talking about the brain. A defiant child is a scared child. There's a reason that that child is not turning that TV off immediately when you say turn that television off. And we're going to get into that in a later session. So right now, I want you to think. The first 0 to 5 years of life, conception to 5, establishes the blueprint for all of your future relationships. What were your first 5 years of life like? And what have your child's first 5 years of life been like? And how readily can you see some of those past experiences still showing up today? Blah! Voila! New lens, you're already seeing. I can see light bulbs going off above your head already. It's that quick. It doesn't have to take long. See you next time.